Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Lesbian News. Our top stories and headlines today are: pre-production is over and the L Word Generation Q Season 3 has officially started filming. A new Netflix show is set to have the blood of women-loving women racing. HBO Max offers up some women-centered LGBTQ content. Queer as Folk hosts its premiere and begins anew for a new generation. And we check in with the women-loving women sides of The Boys, Only Murders in the Building, Westworld, and Miss Marvel. All that and more coming up on the Lesbian News. Welcome back to the Lesbian News. Thank you so much for joining us. Our top story today, the L Word Generation Q Season 3 is back in production. Filming started yesterday, Monday, the 6th of June, and we're looking forward to seeing what everyone has in store for us for Season 3. After a busy few weeks of pre-production, setup, camera builds, wardrobe fittings, and table reads, the cast and crew returned to the set for the first day of filming for the L Word Generation Q Season 3. The Season 3 premiere appears to be written by showrunner Marja Lewis-Ryan and directed by Catriel Kindred, who last season directed the karaoke episode and also was the writer's assistant on Season 1 of Gen Q. One of the directors of photography, Moira Morel, will be back this season, and she's a cinematographer for the premiere. You may remember from the last two seasons, but the cinematographers generally split the episodes down the middle, with one taking the even episodes and the other taking the odd episodes. The other director of photography, Sandra Valde, will unfortunately not be returning for Season 3, and the new director of photography will be Danny Grunes. Danny has worked on previous projects with showrunner Marja Lewis-Ryan, including her movie The Four-Faced Liar and her new project Liked, which also stars Jacqueline Tobani. We'll of course be bringing you all the latest updates for filming for the L Word Generation Q, so make sure that you're subscribed here and following over on Instagram. On to our next story. It appears as though Netflix is giving the lesbians a summer treat in the form of a new TV show, First Kill. First Kill is set to hit the streaming giant this week, and it looks to be a treat for any women-loving women content lovers. First Kill is about a vampire named Juliet who falls in love with a vampire slayer, Calliope. This honestly sounds like an answer to teenage dreams of wanting a lesbian Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And judging by the CW-ness of the trailer, or should we say the WB-ness of the trailer,
this is the WB Television Network.
Tonight's all-new Charmed will continue on the WB Thursday night.
it seems as though good things are in store for First Kill. Maybe even enormous Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan Jennifer Beals will give it the seal of approval. First Kill comes out on Netflix this Friday, June 10th. Hacks has wrapped for its second season, and taking its place with strong female leads and women-loving women content is Irma Vep. Irma Vep is a new show premiering on HBO this week, and the show is about an actress who is a superhero movie star, but then goes on to remake a silent French film. Not crazy amounts is known about the show, but we've got some gorgeous ladies and some women-loving women queer content, so we'll be covering it. Irma Vep is available now on HBO Max. And before the rest of our stories, let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Miss G. G, how's the weather looking going into summer? Thanks, G. On to the rest of our stories. Queer as Folk had its premiere this week with a host of famous gays turning out on its rainbow carpet. The new Queer as Folk will be the third iteration after the British and the late 90s and early 2000s versions. The show is set in New Orleans this time and has a wide cast of characters, with Juliette Lewis and Kim Cattrall set to star in the show. There's also some women-loving women ladies, so we'll of course be covering the show. Queer as Folk premieres its entire first season, all 8 episodes, this Thursday, June 9th on Peacock. And finally, we do have some shows being released that are not exclusively queer and LGBTQ shows, but they do contain some lesbian and bisexual characters. After all, not every show can be the L word. First up is The Boys, which released its first 3 episodes last week and will continue releasing 1 episode every Friday for the rest of the season. One of the main characters in this show, a superhero, Queen Maeve, is gay and has her girlfriend Elena also appear on the show.
We have a gay hero.
Really? Who in the 7 is gay?
Queen Maeve.
A relationship. That's such a vague word. What does that mean to you?
What, long walks in the park? A shoulder to cry on? Scissoring each other?
Maeve hasn't had too much going on the first 3 episodes, but hopefully her part gets beefed up the rest of the season. You can catch The Boys every Friday on Amazon Prime. Only Murders in the Building is set to start its 2nd season at the end of June. Selena Gomez is set to get herself a female love interest in the form of Cara Delevingne. The show is about 3 strangers who live in the same building, and when one of their fellow tenants is murdered, they band together to create a true crime podcast where they try to solve the crime. Only Murders in the Building comes out on Hulu in the US and Disney Plus in Europe on June 28th. Miss Marvel is coming out this week on Disney Plus, and while we do not have an absolute guarantee about an LGBTQ character, as someone who's read the comics, I can advise you to look out for Miss Marvel's best friend. That's all I'll say for fear of spoilers, but Miss Marvel is coming out on Disney Plus tomorrow, June 8th. And finally, Westworld is set to premiere after a very, very long hiatus, with Tessa Thompson, Evan Rachel Wood, and Ariana DeBose all starring in the 4th season. Even if we don't have some LGBTQ characters, that's a lot of women-loving women love in the cast. I also highly suspect that there will be some women-loving women content going on, so keep your eyes peeled. Westworld will come out on HBO Max on June 26th. And that's all we've got time for today here at the Lesbian News. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to tune back in next week for the latest and greatest in your women-loving women news. From everyone here at the studio, Miss G and myself, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.